Well, hello everybody, how are we doing? Lee Romang here again for another Delkim Live. Hope you're safe and well wherever you are. 30 minutes or so, maybe a bit longer tonight actually, with what we're going to do, but we do this every week. If you've not seen this before or you've forgot what we do, then we're here every week talking everything Delkim, answering your questions, which is where it was all stemmed from in the first place, and generally going through bits and pieces on how to use our products and what they do and what you need them for and how to do this, that and the other. But tonight is something that I've been meaning to do for a few weeks now, is we're going to do a brief history of Delkim, shall we say, and go through where we came from, how it started, and where we are now, looking at the various products that Delkim has made through the years and bringing us right up to date with our latest and greatest, and seeing how the technology has developed and how the features have developed and how we got to where we are today, basically. If you don't know who I am, I'm Lee Romang. I am the commercial director of Delkim, and there's probably only one person that knows more than me, and that's my dad. So I'm going to try my best. He probably do a better job than me, knowing more about the early days. I was a little bit small, but I've been involved in the business since I was, well, virtually since I could walk, I think. So, I was helping out in the early days doing bits and pieces, and I always remember him going to tackle shops and dropping off, alarms that he'd done, and I've been there, and Delkim's been part of my life from a young age, so it's in my blood, as you probably all know or have guessed already. Just wait till get a few people on board tonight. So of course, if you're interested in the history of Delkim, then please let people know. We're on Facebook and we're on YouTube, and of course, if you are on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe. There's all sorts of stuff going on there, and we've got something very interesting coming very soon. So make sure you're on there, and Facebook is hello. Give a few shouts out to people. Hello. Robbie Stinson, hello to you. Thank you very much. All Nick Mint, hello. Everybody's coming on board. Max W07 on YouTube, hello. Liam German, hello. So lots of people coming on board. Mark Batley, Battledate, one of the regulars, hello. Phil Lawson, hello. And Colin Moore, say hello. So again, not sure I'm going to get a chance to answer all your questions tonight, but I'm certainly, you can contact us anytime, as always, with anything and help that you need on social media. We're there literally 24/7. We answer it as much as we can with any questions that you might have. Just as always, a little bit of a push for the app, because if you guys haven't got this on your phone, then you need it in your life. So the Delkim app with our quick guides, instructions, videos, all help and advice on repairs, warranty, spares, whatever you need. It's on there, so that's a quick guide for our latest products. Just put it on there. So there's our video guides, visual indication systems. It's got new stuff and old stuff as well, so it's just not all about our new stuff, but that is completely free. That app is there for you from the App Store or from Google Play, for you to use anytime. It's free, so just search Delkim and that will come up for you. So hopefully that is useful, and we'll be adding to that as we go on. So without further ado, let's just crack on with what we're going to talk about. So where did it all begin? Where did bite alarms begin? So that's really where we are. Let's just get myself comfortable as we settle in for what we're going to talk about. Where did it all begin? So basically, there was about one bite alarm that was only ever available, and that was the Heron head. That was, if you know your history, Dick Walker, obviously one of the major influences in carp fishing in the very early days. He created, or was part of, the only alarm that was available, and that was called the Heron. And in the late 70s, when carp fishing really started to kick off, and obviously it had been going on, but not massively. But then there was a big surge in carp fishing, and some of the big guys that brands that you know and love now, all started their embryonic stages in that late 70s. So, Delkim, Nash, Fox, all these big companies, they were all fishing in very similar areas. Certainly Kevin Nash and my dad, and Cliff Fox came around our house. He was using Knocktobics at one point when he was doing his bed chairs, and of course he went on to develop his own. But obviously Fox, huge brand. But all that started in the late 70s with the growth of carp fishing, really in the Essex area. I can only talk about Essex because that's where I'm from. If you didn't know, I'm born in Basildon, and then I was sort of moved up north a little bit. But yeah, that's where my heart is. So there was the mecca of carp fishing, as we know, southeast. There's a lot of carp fishing. That's where it started, and that was where things were going off. And the Heron head was the only barter line you could get hold of. It was the only thing that was available at the time, and it was a very basic model. I don't have one of the original ones before it was converted, but this is what my dad and his friend, who is the other half of Delkim, so that's his fishing buddy at the time, was Kim Donaldson. So my dad is Del Romang, and this is Kim Donaldson. I have talked about this before, and that's where the name Delkim came from. So they were fishing, and they were using, or these were available, and my dad decided that these things could be made a lot better. So what he used to do is convert the Heron heads. So if you haven't seen one of these before, that's what it does. So you've got a little bit of wire there, and the line sits in there, and then when the fish pulls, it will put tension onto that. It's a tension indicator on there, and makes contact, goes beep. Use it through an extension box. So there's one of our original extension boxes that we used to have. All right, so my dad put LEDs in, he improved the contacts here, made it better, put a socket in, as far as I'm aware, LED, and that was the first Delkim bite alarm. It was a conversion of an existing product, and we used to make these people used to send them in to us, or we used to go and collect them or meet them at the bank or wherever it was and make these. And it was really just to make a bit of pocket money to help pay for fishing, because it was you had to buy bait. Bait wasn't freely available as it is now. Bait's expensive now. It was very difficult to get hold of then. They were making boilies and getting high protein milk powder bits for the bait. The name escapes me. Sorry for the moment what they're after. But that was what they were doing. So they were getting flavours and bits and pieces, basically from food manufacturers direct. I remember going to the back doors of factories and with my dad, and he was picking up stuff, high protein milk powders and flavourings, and that was all paid for, hopefully. He told us it was, by making these bits and pieces for fishing. Obviously, it was probably coming out a bit of the housekeeping as well. So that was the Heron head, though. That was the first Delkim bite alarm that was ever made, commercially available, with the extension boxes. Now, then things moved on, and something called Knocktobic Tonic was available. And you may well have all seen one of these. So this is really what made Delkim's name. So this is our conversion of an Knocktobic compact alarm. So we used to take out the speaker, put in these are what we call GPO speakers, so out of a telephone. So it's loud. We used to add volume and tone control, and we changed it from working just on an infrared to having a magnet inside. the magnet used to turn and work a reed switch, and that's what made it go off. If I show you this one here, these are actually my dad's. So this was how it was produced. This is my dad's own ones that he actually put a switch on the side so he could turn them off. It still works, still goes. You can change the tone on it. Let's have a look. There you go, change the tone on it. He put a switch on, just used to put elastic band around it, so he thought, well, rather than do that, I'll put my own switch on it. It was his stuff. But that's the working one. This is what people would have bought. So we used to convert those, and people used to send them in. And at certain points, we used to buy them actually directly from Delkim. He sold them to us, and we'd convert them and sell them. And these, you know, we were selling these through retailers, a few retailers, big shops that maybe not be here anymore. But I'm trying to think of things like Tackle Up, Fleet, Bristol Angling used to be Trafford Angling up in Manchester. Some other shops that escape my memory at this point that we used to sell through. Not many, but you know, mainly people were sending. If you look on the back here, it's got our old address. You can't go there anymore. Obviously, we're not there, so don't disappear. But that's where we were. We used to work them from home, and it had all the details on there. People used to bring them round. This is how it was in them days. You know, we used to have people turn up, drop them off, and then we modify them. And you know, I used to drill out the cases. Sorry if some of those were a bit dodgy. So yeah, you know, and that's where we got to. And this is where Delkim originally, you know, electronic conversions were quite, you know, sought after and something that we were renowned for. We then got stopped. We got taken to court by Delkim, who were the manufacturer of the products, the original products, for patent infringement. So they didn't like what we were doing. We tried to fight it at the time. You know, obviously it gets expensive for a small company. You know, it just was my mum and my dad. And Kim Donaldson were all part, just working from home, just this small little sort of cottage industry, and Delkim themselves didn't like what we were doing, so it took us to court. Unfortunately, we lost. We thought we would win. We were advised by a number of people that, you know, we had a good case, but we lost. C'est la vie. And we could no longer convert those. And then that spurred my dad into, how can I make a bite alarm that doesn't need a wheel, that doesn't infringe anybody's patent, that doesn't, you know, need a wheel. And there we set off on the project of creating a vibration system. And it took many, many years and a lot of hard work. And the classic story, I've told it recently, I was actually interviewed for South African radio, would you believe, to do with our distributor over there, Kingfisher. But I told the story. My dad had the idea literally in a dream. He woke up in the middle of the night and he ran downstairs, as he's quite happy to say, naked. Not a pretty sight, I can assure you, even in the 80s. And he ran to his record player and he got a bit of line. The record players, if you remember record players before CDs, so vinyl. And he ran a piece of line over the needle, the record needle. Of course, it made a terrible, you know, scratching sound. But as he moved it faster, the sound went whoosh. So that increase in the speed of the line made the sound on his nice speakers change. And there on in, he said, well, there's a speed relationship. So by moving the line faster, there's something changing. Therefore, we must be able to measure it somehow and produce a sound. And from there on in, that's what we worked on for many, many years. Well, not me. I was too young, but, you know, as a company, Delkim. For many, many years to try and perfect a vibration system using a piezo ceramic cartridge or piezo that's like in a record player that vibrates, because that's how it works. It bounces over the grooves in the record, and the vibration system was being born. And here is an actual prototype that actually works. If I turn it on, it still works. So when we were testing the prototypes, we're actually putting them in our old Optonic cases to field test. There was, various issues with it. It was obviously very, very sensitive, and that was one of the big issues with trying to get the vibration system to work. Is that up until now, everybody would have a run, and they get what they call a single, one toner. So that continuous tone when you knew it was dinner time. And we were forever trying to replicate that. And what used to happen is, of course, once it started to go continuously, you started to get feedback, because the vibration of the sound from the alarm was going back into the sensor. It's picking up the vibration of the air, and we'd get massive feedback problems. And that took forever and ever and ever and ever to try and work a resolution to that. We tried various different things until we came up with, why does it have to go continuously? Why do you need a one toner? And that's where the Delkim Warble was born. And this is the very first Delkim bite alarm. So if you look at it, that was the original livery, predominantly white labels. That's our first standard. And if I turn it on, I hope it works. Let's have a look. There we go. And that has got that alternating tone, and that was the key, where it didn't feedback and it didn't go off on its own, and that was the killer feature. So that born is our original Delkim, and you can see that is our vibration sensor. I've shown that before, all right, and it's the same basic sensor now in the ones we use now as we did back in there. The only change, the very first ones we made, we used a plastic on the sensor, and unfortunately we found that the line would burn the sensor, and very, very quickly we had to change to this material here, which is PEEK, which is PEEK, and I think I've discussed this many times, but this is a heat resistant material. It was used on the space shuttle. It doesn't burn, doesn't melt, and that was in there from at least 6 months into the launch of the product. So quick change. We learned something that we didn't know. We were quite wet behind the ears at the time as a company. We went it alone and started full time on this, having it been a part-time business. My dad, once he got there, was in the shoe industry. The shoe industry was going to the wall, and so therefore he decided that it was time to go all in. And as you say, that was history. So we've, things have gone absolutely skyrocketed by then. So this is your original standard. So we had no radio option then. That was our standard alarm. And then obviously the birth of the TXI. So let me now go across. Oh yes, of course, then I can show you, we changed the livery quite early on, actually. I can't remember how many years we changed it livery. I think it's when we brought the TXI out. So there's the TXI model there with the aerial on the bottom. Okay, and the standard was our two options that we had. So this was first, and then we brought out in so this was, we'll just go back, this was 1992. So we first launched our standard plus alarm, our standard alarm, get it rightly, our standard alarm in 1992. So that's your timeline. And then the TXI came out in 1996. So if I switch to camera 2, and then you can see there is the TXIs all in a row. So we have, this is, oh, sorry, I dropped my pointy stick. So this is our TXI, they're the original, it's actually a blue one. So we were the first to have blue LEDs, and it still works. Let me turn that on. Let me turn that up, and you can hear it. There we go. So there's your blue. So we're the first to have blue. And then we had white in the TXI range as well. We brought that out. So just have a drink, sorry about that. And that was together with our original receiver. So we got the RX2000 receiver with the 3 colours on there. And then we brought out the blue, and therefore we increased and we brought out the 2004 4LED model. And you could have up to 6 alarms on this one, 2 on each channel. And you could have 8 on this model. So basic, volume, and an on-off. On here you had low and high scan. So straight away, one of the USPs of Delkim has always been battery life. That was what the Octonics were converted for, really, because they used to use a hell of a lot of battery, because they used to have an infrared beam that was permanently on, and we modified them so that they would use less current and sit there virtually off until you had a run. So that was brought over into our products ever since. So you used to have a high and low scan on the RX2004 and RX2000, and basically high was, it was switching on and off ever so fast, so you never miss a single pulse. Still works now. And then if you put it into low, it would switch on, off, on, off. So really it's a battery saving feature if you were going to sleep at night or something and you won't know every single beat, but as soon as you got a run, might come through there. But it would, you know, it was a battery saving feature on that model. And that was basically it. You had your volume, tone, sensitivity, high and low range on the switch, and the only other feature is it had a range check facility. You could put it into range check. There was no other features, there was no other whistles and bells on those models. And you know, that grew. It still wasn't, you know, the roaring success that it is today. You know, it took time for people to, let's just get that into focus so that you can see things better. There we go. It took time for people to really get onto the vibration system. You know, it was new. It was something completely different to anybody had used before. Everybody wanted wheels, and they knew what they were getting on with wheels. But as time went on, people got used to the vibration system. People who used it suddenly realised it was giving them a massive advantage, and it sort of grew a cult status, more than a massively commercial one, I would say. Initially, people were sort of knowing they had a little bit of an advantage and maybe keeping it under their hat. So, you know, it was growing, but really, things never took off. Let me just, oh, there you go, Trevor Pritchard. Oh yes, you've mentioned something. Trev, quite true. Let me just throw that one in the mix. There we go. That was our TX2000 plug-in transmitter. So I haven't got one with the original. We used to have one with a long wire on, so a quarter wave aerial. Those came before the TXI, and they used to plug in. Let me just undo. They used to plug in the bottom of the, and you've probably seen them on the plus range, but that came first, and that came with the RX2000 receiver. So they would plug in, and then you had a transmitter. You could buy them and add them to your standard alarm, and then came the TXI. About 1994 was the plug-in transmitter. So thanks for reminding me there, Trevor. Hope you're well. Oh, Nigel Beresford. Hello, Nigel. Hope you enjoyed the music at the weekend. My other little string to my bow. So we got TXI there. And things grew, things went well. But then we moved on to the TXI, the Plus range. And the Plus range was the massive, leap forward for Delkim. Can't say why. I think people just started to understand the vibration system. So, it'd been out for, since 1992. We were doing all right. Nothing wrong with what we were doing. But the big leap in terms of the commercial success came with the launch of the Plus range. So 2003, the Standard Plus was the first model to go out. So there's our standard model. So no transmitter on the bottom. But one of the key features was, can you see there? Nice little socket. We introduced our night lights. So you could plug in illuminated hanger. We changed to twin LEDs in the ears, and one of the other big step forwards, if I turn this on and I press the button, when that goes out, you'll see, let's have a look, I hope that works, it comes through. When it goes out is the night mark. If I turn that light off, there you go, night marking. And that is a patented feature. Obviously, the vibration sensing is patented. Night marking was a patented feature. Nobody had that before. People couldn't, people tried since, but nobody's got it now, even like we've got it. And that, that Plus range really, really did take off. I think just more and more people got behind the idea of vibration sensing. They saw the benefits. The products were reliable. They worked. Made in the UK. These were all still made, and they are from this one to this one, all made in the UK, all assembled by us, all individually tested, so that everything was as reliable as it can be. The circuits are coated, the mouldings are sealed, and the latest ones are even more so. So TXI Plus came. This is the RX Plus Pro receiver. So again, there was a slight interim there. There was an RX Plus. I don't have an RX Plus, but the RX Plus had 5 LEDs, and then we launched the purple. So we did exactly this. You think we learned the first time. So we launched this one, and then we launched blue. So we had to add blue to it. So that was the fourth one. So we launched the 3 LED one, and then we had to go to 4. And then we launched the Plus range with 5 LEDs, and then we discovered a purple LED, which was awesome. And therefore, we had to add purple to the receiver. It just had to be done. And then we ended up with a 6 LED receiver. So this was the Pro version. The RX Plus had 5. This had 6. And this had local and distant. So this is sort of a short range and long range. So you put it, you can see the purple on there. You could have up to 4 alarms now in each channel, so 24 alarms if you needed them. You've got local, which reduces the range to 50 meters. Again, saving battery. That's the whole point of it, keeping the battery consumption as low as possible. And distant goes, in excess of, or up to 200 meters or so. That's what it's designed for. And another feature as well that was unique to us at the time was our anti-theft, and that was something we brought in with our model. So you all know and love it now, but we were the first with it. Turn the alarm off. It sets the receiver off, so if somebody comes along and tries to take your stuff, away it goes. You could adjust the brightness of the LEDs. So if I turn that one on, so out the box it was medium. You had medium with night marking. If you see the night marking there, you can. If you hold it down for 2, you got full brightness. Hold it down for 3. Oh, sorry. Yep, then you got full brightness with night marking. And that goes out. That's sort of our demo mode when we were out demonstrating the Plus range. And then 4th setting is the lowest brightness with night marking. So we introduced some new features. This was still an analog radio. It's what we knew, but we designed the radio ourselves. In this model, we bought in a radio module and attached it to our board. This one, we designed the radio module ourselves, so it was as good as we could get at the time. And things went from strength to strength. We started doing accessories. You can see our got the d-loks on here, but we did. Where you got snag ears, and the good thing as well was our hangers, our illuminated hangers. I'm not going to go through all that, but that was only available on the Plus range, and that really helped cement the TXI Plus as a major player in the alarm market, and that is, we have never looked back since. And now for 15 years, well, this was in the market for, I've got to do my maths now, 11 years, and the TXI Plus was in the market then for 15 years. So 15 years it was, you know, really at the top of its game. And then in 2019, after 10 years of very hard work and, you know, in trying to top, you know, something that was so successful, we launched the txi-d and the digital RxD receiver. So we wanted to improve the performance. One of the downsides, or one of the things that you couldn't utilize necessarily, was the vibration system at its best, because I can't get a bit of line there. Let's just see if I drag a bit of line over. There we go. So if I run that on there, at maximum sensitivity and high, you're getting fantastic pickup, but sometimes it goes a little bit crazy, and we wanted to be able to use that better so that people could get more information and really make the most out of that vibration system. So without leaping out the bivvy, thinking you've got to run when it's only moved, you know, a couple of millimeters if you have it up that high, that's where we came in with this one. We've got beep speed. Is this one on? Sure, turn it on. So we've got beep speed control. You've got more adjustability all round. You've got a fully digital radio. There we go. You've got a fully digital radio. There's a nice purple LED to show you. So again, improved performance on the radio, better range. You know, at the time, this was as good as you could get. As time went on, things changed, and the alarm was still rock solid, but the receiver was a little bit dated. I have no problem in saying that. We knew that, but we were still working on this. We were trying to get the beep speed and the response right. You know, they were getting the digital alarm. This was analog, getting the digital alarm right. You know, we had to try and replicate this. It was a bit like, you know, we just had to do it, write it out. There was no algorithm, just had to do it piece by piece. You know, every bit of code, just replicate what was going on. So now we have a fully digitized vibration system, still using the same sensor. That's not changed, so that's in that one, and it's in that one, it's in that one. You can see them all sitting in there, and that's where, you know, we've gone to town on this with the improved mouldings. You know, this was a bit more of a facelift. We were still using the same rear moulding, so that's an EV Plus, and you can see an old style standard. The back was the same, so you know we're still utilising some bits from this one on this one, but we went completely from scratch on this alarm. Everything was new except the sensor, basically. So from the ground up, and you've got better mouldings, better reliability in terms of, you know, weatherproofing, more sealed. You know, we already built a reputation of reliability with our TXI. You don't make an alarm for 15 years without it being any good, or else we wouldn't be here today. That's, you know, basically this has built Delkim's reputation. You know, it's enhanced it, and now, you know, we've gone massively onwards and upwards with this range. You know, we've got features on here like DND, Do Not Disturb, Run Light. You know, we've got increased security. We've gone the next stage with our movement detection system. You you know, mutes, functions. So, you know, it really is progression from very basic features to a few more on this one. And then, you know, absolutely to town on this one. So you can see, you know, how things have developed, you know, even in the design states of things. So that's me talking a lot. Let me see what you guys have to say, perhaps. You know, that is a brief. Let me just grab a bit of water. There's a lot of talking there. Thank you. You know, it's a very brief, you know, history of where we come from, what we're doing, but you can see how things have moved on, how things have progressed, and how Delkim has grown. You know, it's a household brand, but you know, in the fishing industry, it's grown from tiny little seeds to now being, you know, synonymous with you know, top quality bite indication, and it's all we make. You know, we're still a family business. So Kim Donaldson is no longer with us, unfortunately. He left the business when the court case back with Della Reed and the optonic conversions were, you know, still friends. There was nothing. He just didn't want to get involved in the legalities of that, and my dad wanted to push it. So so it's been a family business. It was my dad and my mum. Unfortunately, my mum passed away in 1998. But then we've carried it on since. I've been in the business since about similar time. Before that, working as a child, but in terms of full time. My sister works there. My dad's remarried. My stepbrothers work there. Got 3 stepbrothers. They work there. Obviously, my stepmum works there as well. So it's a true family business from start to finish, with a few other helpers on the way. But it's got that family feel. They're all family friends. Everybody who knows everybody is, you know, we're all working together as one. It's a happy family all the time. You're always going to have a slight, but you know what I'm saying. Yes, generally we're all pulling in the same direction, and we're working hard. So hopefully that gives you some idea. What's the reference? Did the original bolt on the transmitter have a dangly aerial? Yes. No, I did say that, Trevor. It did have a dangly aerial. It used to have. Where have I got it now? I put it down somewhere. There you go. Yes. So it used to have a bit of wire that used to stick out. That was the original, what's called a quarter wave. So it's a length that you needed to get maximum range. And then we went to a coil aerial that was inside one of these, same as what was on the TXI. So yes, the very original ones had a big dangly bit of wire hanging off. Again, you know, you live and learn. Things develop and grow. It was the best at the time, and then we improved that. Let's have a look. I recently purchased one of your new receivers for Big Carp Tackle. I've tried to register 4 times, but it keeps saying there's a problem with the receipt. Please help. I've emailed you and never responded. If you've emailed, you would have definitely got a reply, Charlie. We never ignore an email. If you haven't got the receipt, you need, if people are putting receipts, it must be a proof of purchase, not a delivery note. Okay, a proof of purchase has the purchase price on it. Shows that you bought it. A delivery note just lists the stuff that was in the box. So we need a proof of purchase. You need a receipt. To claim your extra warranty, you need a receipt. So if you haven't sent me a receipt, a picture of a receipt, then that'll be why. And if you've emailed, you would have got a response. If you message us on Facebook or Instagram or YouTube or anywhere where you Twitter, we're all there to answer your questions. So that could be why. Hi Lee, how can you show me how much movement you have to have in the... Let me read this again. Hi Lee, can you show me how much movement you have with the d-lok attached? All 3 of mine wobble sideways and up and down about 3 minutes. Up and down? I wonder if it can be tighter. It certainly should be tighter. Let me see what I've got. It shouldn't wobble up and down. If you wobble up and down, I don't think you've got the bolt in tight enough. I've got everything locked on here at the moment. Might not be easiest for me to do that now. I haven't got a base here. Let me just see if I can grab this. Is good live stuff, isn't it? Let me just grab one of these. Oh, they're all on. They're all buzzing. All right, let's turn that off. Turn that off. Turn that off. Let me anti-theft off. So, there might be a little bit of left and right movement. It varies a little bit, depends how tight you've got them. But that's to help them twist off. But it shouldn't be going up and down. If you've got it up and down, you haven't got your bolt tight enough. There's no way it's going, that is not going anywhere that way. So you get a little bit of twist as it helps you remove the items. I've not tightened that down because I was doing it quickly. But I've not tightened the bolt. So if you've got movement up and down, either you haven't got the spring and the pin in properly, that could be what's going on. So you've got to make sure you've got them in the right way around. Let me just tighten that. So you want to get that nice and tight. And it's square. Make sure you've got your pin. You can see that, that's spring loaded. So that gets a grip in the recessed bolt. And then that snaps on there. And it might be a slight bit of movement there. But it's not, there is no way it's going backwards and forwards. There's no way it's twisting up and down. So I think you might not have something quite right in the setup. So have a look at that and maybe that will help you out. What else we got? I've set up each variant and it all have their place. Love the latest one. Thank you very much, Nigel. All good. Please, what could possibly be done on the next alarms? Well, Mark, that's a good question and one I can't necessarily answer. Obviously, you know, we have a good platform now. Being it totally digital, it opens up a whole world of possibilities and makes life easier for development going forward. We're not looking to bring anything out immediately, but of course we will look to develop and bring out ranges of products in the future. We're not going to sit hopefully for 15 years and bring out the next one, so things will move on. But you know, the txi-d and the EVD are here for a good while yet. You know, we're not a company like an iPhone that brings out a new product you know, every year. So who knows what technology will bring. You know, we are obviously working on things in the background, things I can't possibly tell you, or else I'd have to come around your houses and gag you all. But, you know, it takes time to develop. We're always looking at how we can improve stuff and, you know, we'll see how we get on. But, yeah, you know, you will always try and push things forward. Who knows what we can do? And it's saying, as technology moves forward, things get smaller, things get cheaper. You can achieve things that you wouldn't have been able to achieve previously at a more cost-effective level, basically. That's what's going to happen. What we got here? Is there any better way to make all three alarms the same tone, or is it counting game through 64 tones? We could put them all to default, and then they'd all be exactly the same. So this is A2D on YouTube. That would get you there straight away if you just reset them all back to default. Or you would need to, if I turn this on, so I've turned this alarm on. Oh, let's turn it off again, then put it into tone. So, turn it back on. I'm going to put it into, there you go, that's settings, setup mode, and now I can change the tone. Okay, so I'm changing the tone. I've got there. But if I keep pressing and releasing, it will repeat the tone I'm on. So I like that one. I'm going to leave that there. So then I'll go to the next one and I'll get to there. And you've got to use your ears. You know, same as you would do with your control on your old alarms. If I'm setting the tone, let's turn that down. If I'm setting my tone on my, have I got one that's working? Let's just, where have I put them down? There we go. So if I'm setting the tone on a TXI, I've got infinite range. I've got to set the other one by ear. You know, you can't just set them on the same number. It's not the same because there's component variance. So you're still going to set it by ear, and then you just tweak it so if you all want them the same. So that would always be the way you're going to set the tone regardless, because you're always going to set it by ear. That would be my best suggestion, unless my best suggestion is, don't want to tell you, but why would you want them all on the same tone? That's always the question I need to ask, is why would you want them all on the same tone? If I get a run in the middle of the night, how do I know which one's gone off? So you go, well, I'll look down at the LEDs and see which colour it is. Okay, that's fine, but logic, how I've always set up, and that's how, you know, I was taught from an early age. Maybe it's because I was taught one way and other people are taught the other way. but I'd have whatever, left hand, right hand, middle, set, different tones, so I know immediately which one is, you know, higher tone at one end, lower tone at the other, and then you know which rod to go to because you've got them set. That would always be, you know, again, a bit of information because it's telling you which one's going off. Oh, it's a bit high tone, right? I know that one's on the right. But hey, all good, all good. Are you bringing out a case for the txi-d receiver? The receiver comes with a case mark. If you're talking about a clear one, then the answer is no. There's no need for a clear case. What do you need it for? You won't be able to use the buttons. You won't be able to hear it. You won't be able to see it. So it doesn't need protection. So a clear case is really not needed. It just, you know, it's not necessary. Born in '93, Delkim have always been the elite since I started. Just got 4 of your new set. Can't wait to use it at the end of the month. So it's Temo, you man on YouTube. Thank you. Yes, 93. Wow. I was born in 74, so you've got plenty of youth on your side compared to me, my friend. Let's have a look. John Jones is impressed with the EVD. Yes, the EVD is a fantastic model for the price. You know, it really, it's a standard. It's the old standard plus, basically. You've got full range of sensitivity in the new style body. You know, you've got the benefits of the txi-d response and mouldings and quality and all that, with all the features you need. So yes, it's a pimped up EV by a long way, sort of. So it's well worth the money. Same question as Mark earlier. Are you bringing out a clear case? No, Nigel. We're not looking to bring out a clear case. I'm afraid. You know, as I've said, doesn't really need it. Could you put LEDs in the snag ears? Somebody asked that the other day. Oh, was it you again, Steve Blink? Oh, my light's just run out of juice. Let's put that one on. There we go. Corresponds, yeah, it's green on the green. I don't think we'll be looking to do illuminated snag ears at any time soon. It's not something that's on the agenda. It's not something that is being talked about. So I don't see really the point of that. Obviously, we have night marking. Maybe something that glows if you're looking at your snag ears. Might be something. So who knows? But that's not really been something that's been discussed. Hi Lee, I'm new to your alarms. Is there any way the EVD can be used as a receiver? No, Ian Weller. The EVD is a very basic. I've only got one with the back off here. It's a very basic alarm. You know, it's 60 quid as opposed to 134.99, and it has no radio option. You've still got socket for your illuminated hangers. You've got full range of response. You've got day and night LED mode. You've got mute. You've got, you know, the full quality of moulding, still UK assembled and made, and coated and tested, individually tested. But for that money, I'm afraid it does not come with a radio option. I'm very, very sorry. And somebody else is replying to Steve. So there we go. So that's it then. I think we've covered most things. Hopefully you have found that of some interest. You know, I tried not to waffle, try and make things as interesting as I can. Sorry if it might have dragged on a bit. That, you know, again, brief history of where we come from. You know, we started with conversions. That's really where our connection with our customers has always come from. We've always been here for our customers because we've always been used to dealing with customers, you know, straight on, face to face, ringing up, dealing with them because we were converting their products. We're always dealing with customers, and that's something we've always carried on. We've always had that natural affinity with dealing with people directly. We tend to deal with people directly now. You know, we always encourage shops to pass customers on to us if they have any issues because it's just so much easier dealing direct than just through third parties. So, you know, that's why we try our best to offer the best customer service we can. It was just something that grew and is, you know, it takes as much of our business, our customer service side, in terms of, you know, the time, you know, dealing with people and making sure they're dealt with correctly. And, you know, we take that time and effort to deal with people and give them the best service we can, as much as the manufacturing side. You know, it's a major part of our business, and there's always, and always will be. Will you make an affordable alarm with a receiver? This is Ross Davis. It's a good question. No, if I could make a £50 alarm with a receiver in it or with a transmitter in it, we'd be doing it. There comes a point where you just can't compete with things that are made in other parts of the world. You know, we make our stuff in the UK. You know, things are changing, and who knows, in the future things become more cost effective, and you never know. But there are limits. You know, the vibration system itself has an inherent cost. It's not as simple as an on-off switch from a wheel, and there's, you know, areas of that. And, you know, we've scraped as much as we can off the EVD to make it as competitive as we can. We've pretty much hit the limit of what, you know, we can afford to sell it for. So, you know, yeah, you know, I'd love to be able to make an alarm that's as, you know, with vibration that is the cost of some of these other ones, but I just can't. You know, it's just not possible, not at this time. So I'm sorry. You know, we try and make the best bite alarms we can, and unfortunately there is a cost. But you buy cheap, you buy twice. But that's not saying that there are, you know, that mid-market, there are some great alarms, and I'm never going to knock, you know, for the money what you get sometimes with other people's is great. I can't knock that, but they don't have vibration sensing, and they don't have the after sales and the quality that goes into our products. That's how we will always try and sell our products. It's not, you know, just on cost or price. Can the LEDs, let's have a look, might as well answer these questions as everybody's there, get a bit of an extended me tonight. Can I have my LED lights on all the time on my TXIs during the night? Yes, you've got night marking, Ellis. So night marking, use night mode, or have you got TXI pluses or TXI Ds, but you just change the LED setting and you've got night marking, the LEDs will stay on and glow ever so gently, so you know where to put your rods at all times. That was interesting for tonight. Thank you, Robbie Stinson. Thank you very much. Best company ever. Thank you very much, Timo. Thank you very much. And Danny's Fishing says, beep, 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 beep. So, thank you very much. He's got TXI Plus. Yes, just change the setting and it will glow on all the time. Press the button once. That's it. Go on, I'll show you before I go. It's as if I've never shown anybody these things. Right. Let's turn it on. Okay, so when you first turn it on, I'll turn the light out so you can see. When you first turn it on, it's on medium brightness, no night marking. If I press the button once, it's now on medium brightness, and when that goes out, you've now got night marking. They will stay on all the time. That's all you've got to do. When you turn it off and back on again, it'll cancel it. So there you go, that's night marking. All right, Ellis? Customer service at its best. So, I thank you. Oh, go on then, one more question. When are you going to bring out a bivvy light that connects to the alarms? You don't need one. We have run light feature on our receiver that brings on all the LEDs, and it saves you having to have another bit of kit in your bag. So if I turn it on, let's do that. Okay, so run light turns them all the lights on. So if I now get an activation from this alarm, I'll try and do it, turn it on. Okay, so when I get a run, 4 seconds, all the LEDs light up. There's your bivvy light. It's already in your receiver. Lights up the whole of your bivvy at night, and you go out and land the fish. Perfect, perfect. Right, that's your lot for tonight, people. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your week. Stay safe. Things are opening up, as we know. Boris is doing his best as far as I can see. There's not much you can say about it. I'm not political, but what can you say? It's a moving target, and let's hope everything goes to plan, and then we can all go fishing more, do lots of things, and have a happy and wonderful spring and summer. So, we'll see you again in a week's time. Enjoy what you're doing for the rest of the week. Take care. Good night. Stay safe.